saying. And if we could get proof, that would really close the subject in a way. Then we can actually take it and look at it as now this species does exist, and maybe then we can actually find them and find how they actually live and how they mix together and stuff like that. That's what we need to do. We could first got to find some proof, real proof. And, how many years has this been dragging on where people, I saw Bigfoot. Oh, I got a blurry picture of a Bigfoot. I didn't take a picture because I ran. But have you ever noticed, has anybody come out with a real good picture of a Bigfoot? No, it's not happened.
No. And there's another thing people have to consider, too, that as a possibility, is making an assumption the Bigfoot is just a humanoid type of animal that's running around the woods where we have the upper hand and we'll be able to spot it and take it down or whatever. I'm just playing that, devil's advocate on that end as well. But what if what we're dealing with is something that, is a Bigfoot, but is a mentally or superior abilities or advanced abilities and thinking facilities, and has the ability to sense humans from a mile or two away and can actually see into the range of the ultraviolet or the infrared. I've done presentations talking about this. We're limited as humans because we only see a small segment of the visible light spectrum. These guys can see way into the ultraviolet range, and they can see in the dark. And sometimes I think they can even change their coloring scheme to go into the ultraviolet. So if you're doing, I can't prove that, just like we're talking about here. I can't prove that. But what I'm trying to say is, what if the scenario is they have all these abilities? We don't stand a chance to even come close to getting proof if they're a step or they're 10 steps ahead of any human trying to gather proof of their existence. They don't want to be proven to exist, but then, in my opinion.
Then why would they be walking around with nothing on, no technology, nothing, if they were more advanced than humans? That's the other thing. I don't think they are. I think they're maybe a branch off where when the humans, became into existence, I think there was a branch, and I think they went one way, we went another way. But again, who am I? But other than a talk show host.
Just throwing it out there,
Just saying, I don't know. I have no foggiest. But I think if they were more intelligent than us, they wouldn't be running around hairy without, some type of clothes on or have some type of technology. Because I tell you what, if somebody's intelligent, they're going to be thinking about creating things, and they just wouldn't continue living in the forest without, no running water and having a stove to cook their food. They would advance that way too. So that makes me wonder again, are they connected with aliens? Are they aliens again going back from years and years ago? They maybe even back 100 years ago or 200 or 300 years ago. They know what would scare humans. And maybe the Bigfoot thing, they realize, hey, we'll create an image of a Bigfoot. We'll shapeshift into this. That'll keep the humans away from our area. And we can do our technology of taking over the earth. Who knows?
Well, who's the more advanced? Because if you think about humans, for instance, we're the ones that need clothing because we can't adapt to the weather. We need artificial structures to maintain. I mean, we're people wonder if the human race itself is matched up to living on this planet, and I don't think so. I think we're brought here or some hybrid or something, because we're not doing very well adapting to living. If we didn't have all these artificial constructs, and that goes with food as well, then we don't know how to eat out in the forest. Think about it. They have, if animals and Bigfoots have all this knowledge, they are adapted to this planet. They can adapt to the environment. We don't. So who is the more advanced, if you think about it?
Well, they're better off health-wise than we are, I can tell you that.
Hell, obviously.
Yeah, all the junk food people
The animals,
eat.
all the wild animals don't make doctor appointments, and
One thing I will say about an animal, okay, is that they don't have the thoughts in their brains to comprehend death. So, and I really thought about that here the other day when our last dog died. It's weird. Humans have this fear at death. And it's with you from the minute you're old enough to realize it to the day you die. Where animals, like anything, horses, dogs, cats, anything, primates, whatever, they don't have that thought in their head. So they don't have to worry about death. Think about that, guys.
Makes sense to me.
Well, they live for the moment. Definitely living for the now or living for the moment versus us worrying about the future all the time.
Yeah, they live for the moment. They live for their needs. That's what they live for. And maybe that's what we should have done. I think now society has really gotten scary.
Well, and when you have to worry about the future, it creates fear. And the animals don't have that kind of fear. They're only concerned about their existence on a day-to-day basis, or actually a moment-to-moment basis. And I think instinct kicks in quite a bit. But with us, I think part of the problem is we're indoctrinated from a very young age to accept certain things as normal that we need to strive for as we get older, like a good job, get married, have kids, a big house, a big boat, or whatever. And it creates a lot of anxiety and fear when we can't seem to maintain what we've been taught that we should strive for. So it's something to think about. I know as I got older here, and being in the mountains a lot more, my needs are few now. And I'm finding out the less I have, the happier I am. So go figure.
Oh, that's true. But you know what? If I grabbed 100 people off the street, took them out in the woods, okay, and give them 2 pieces of wood and said, hey, start a fire, I wonder how many people out of that 100 could even start a fire.
Well, if they're desperate enough, they need to cook something, they'll figure it out sooner or later.
Yeah, after they froze to death.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
they better do it. They better do it in a hurry up here in the Cascades because it's already getting really chilly up here.
Yeah. I tell you, it's real weird, too. I was telling James before you came on, even Spokane got snow here a few days ago. It's really weird. I mean, there's areas across this country where they were like 80-some degrees that day. By 4 o'clock in the morning, it was down like 19, 20 degrees and snowing. It's real weird things happening right now.
And here we get November weather. I mean, we never get it this chilly. I mean, the early morning up here in the mountains is already, and I'm not where I'm at. It's not up at the mountain resort area. I'm down below in the lower part of the mountain. And even then, it's about 26, 27 degrees in the morning Fahrenheit. And you know what? We didn't normally, and as frost is already forming on everything, and we normally never got that kind of weather until the end of October, the first part of November. So things are amiss with the weather, definitely, and it's starting to be more noticeable each year that goes by.
Well, remember last year we had that freak temperature in April? We hit like 90-some degrees up here in the Seattle-Tacoma area for that one day. It was crazy. And last summer seemed like it was a lot nicer. This summer it was kind of like And normally I don't even have to run the heat in my house to like towards the end of October. I've already been running the heaters for the last 2 weeks.
And if you look at our weather up here, we actually had one of the warmest winters this past year. It got really warm in December and January, and I thought that was the trend. We're on target to have one of the warmest winters, and all of a sudden, I think after the first week of February, we got slammed, and all of a sudden it got one of the worst winters we could ever possibly had in this area. I mean, I know we got belted really bad up here, and some people, we had like 4 foot of snow blocking people's driveways, and I'm telling you what, I don't care if you have a 4-wheel drive vehicle or anything, or chains on your tires or nothing, you're not going to back your car out when you can't even see the car.
Oh, yeah.
It's under the snow somewhere. And we've had to have the emergency people come out with tractors, literally heavy equipment, not just small push shovels, but large equipment just to get people out of their houses.
And it's crazy. Even where I live down at the harbor, last year we got snow like you wouldn't believe, probably the same time frame, that we couldn't get our cars out of our driveway for like 4 days, 5 days after the snowstorm. That's how deep it got. And you know what? For the last 20 years, the most snow I ever had maybe was 3 inches that lasted a day. I tell you, the weather is changing, people.
I know. And of course, I know you're in a situation on the compound where you're living off a rural road that goes off the main road. Well, the county's not going to clear your private road that goes all the way, about 500 yards from the main road to your place. That's all on you. And that's the same situation I have here. I've got a little piece here that the county will maintain the road and shovel it every day, but guess what? There's a big stretch of road that just totally disappears under the snow, and my neighbor, he just purchased a snowblower so that we can deal with the situation. But, man, when you got to start worrying every year, it's going to get worse, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, I do. So many things out there going on, besides the paranormal. I mean, we got earth changes going on. In the news every day, if you notice about, I don't know if they're trying to set us up for a asteroid impact, but almost every day in the news lately, if you haven't noticed, it's talking about all these asteroids that we didn't even know were heading our way. It's been coming by our Earth, and now they're talking about one that's really big. In the next, 30, 40 years, it's a good chance it could hit. And it's scary. I mean, every day. And you didn't see this a couple months ago. But I swear to God, when I go on the news, it's almost every day about this asteroid going past Earth. They didn't even see it. And we're not talking little ones.
It'll be a repeat of the movie Armageddon or Deep Impact.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if they try to prepare the people ahead of time by, all of a sudden talking about this stuff. And then, a year or two down the road, they say, oh, by the way, there is one it might hit.
Well, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you go send a nuclear device up there and blow it up like they're shown in the movies or something like that. I mean, if the thing is large enough, and it's heading toward the Earth, okay, let's break it up. Well, guess what happens then? Instead of one big one hitting the Earth, then you got a bunch of little chunks that are hitting all over the place and causing massive damage everywhere else on the Earth. So there's no solution to that. We just have to buckle down and pray that one of these things are just going to stay far enough away from the Earth. But guess what? There seems to be evidence over the past 12,000, 13,000 years that there was some kind of asteroid impact on the Earth at one point.
Oh, there is. And it's every few thousand years one actually hits. Look at what happened turn of the century in Russia, that big impact there. And there's been other ones. So, it was interesting a couple of weeks ago. They said that this meteorite or asteroid it was going by, it was not going to hit Earth. What did it hit? It landed on Earth. Thank God it was in the Mediterranean, and it was not around where, it could have hit a city or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, anyway, guys, we're going to go on to our break. I guess you'll be calling back, Sam, after our guest is on. Tonight we got Ronald Meyer will be coming on, and Alan, he's the director and producer. They make documentaries about Bigfoot. We're going to be talking about Bigfoot. Are they connected with aliens and UFOs? So stay tuned. We'll be back in about 4 minutes. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.